Uh-oh. Okay. Okay. Okay, good morning, pharmacy.
Morning.
Let's celebrate some wins first. Thank you so much, Mary. So this week we had two students, one of your own, pass their PTCE.
Hey.
So that was Alex. That is Alex. And yesterday, Kathy.
Woo-hoo.
And then another win would be Jessica. Not because she passed the PTCE, she passed the PTCE last month. It's her first month at Henderson Hospital, and she got the Star Award.
What?
So Roxy, back in the day, she was also a graduate. She's also CPhT at Spring Valley Hospital. Got the Star Award within 2 months. Okay, so the Valley Health System gives the Star Award. Yesterday, I had the tea from Rainey that Jessica got a Star Award. So I texted Jessica. I said, I want to hear the tea straight from you. And she sent me her Star Award that has her name. And I don't want to get it wrong because it's for many different reasons. It could be for Roxy, that time she caught a possible vancomycin wrong calculation. So the pharmacist nominated her. Pharmacist in the IV room who was working with her nominated her. Jessica, this is within her first month of employment. Okay. It can be because of great patient experience, quality or safety of care, compassionate connected care, operational efficiency, good catch, fosters a positive work environment. Who do you think, which one do you think Jessica got? What else? Any more guesses? Okay. It's actually operational efficiency. Okay, it says on her Star Award, great job compounding NICU RSI meds. All meds prepared and delivered in a timely manner. Thank you. And I said, tell me the tea. I was compounding a NICU RSI by myself. And I got it all out really fast, and the nurses and doctors were really impressed. What did I tell you? After accuracy, okay, after you work on your accuracy, you work on your speed. But speed just naturally happens when you know what you're doing. Okay? When you're confident that you did your work right. Okay, so speed just happens. Like she didn't purposefully work on her speed, but she became confident, not only from school, but from working. That was her externship site too. Okay, so we have good wins this week. And I know you will do good as well, and I will get these messages as well. Like pictures of passing scores on a stick on your shifters, SCAR shifters, or over a manual like before. But these are really, really, really good. Makes us happy, and it makes us proud or even prouder. Okay. They share that story about Roxy. It was like far-fetched for the students. No, it's not. You met Jessica, and she did it within her first month. She's working 7 on. Yeah. So Ray said he might be able to swing by Friday. So I told Kathy, Rainey's swinging by Friday. You might want to swing by Friday too. So you can talk about the test as well and share your experience. Okay. So agenda for today, it's all retail pharmacy business math chunk into smaller topics, okay? But it's all retail pharmacy business math. No one-on-ones today, okay? But there'll be tutoring after that. Okay? So I didn't schedule anybody for one. Okay, is this necessary in the PTCE? Yes, it is. Even if you're not working in retail, this is necessary, okay? I actually added 20 more questions on business math on the book that I was preparing, okay? Because this questions or this topic shows up not only on the PTCE, but on the ExCPT, because ExCPT is retail heavy, right? Do you need to know it even if PTCE is not that retail heavy compared to ExCPT? Yes, it shows up on the test. Markup, discount, percent markup, percent discount specifically, okay? So you have to know your terminologies, dispensing fee. I asked Ms. J to give you a packet with terminologies, correct? Yes, okay. And we're gonna pick up from where she left off, but we're going to review discount and markup first, and I'm gonna teach you a shortcut on discount and markup, which is a repetition of the video, okay? I will repeat everything in the video, okay? Because I heard some of you, I don't like that video, okay? Let's check. Make a step. Thank you. Copies of that later because I'm not going to use that anyway. Okay, so we'll start off with terminologies. Discount. Markup. Percentage or percentage markup. And we have discount percentage. In that packet that Miss J gave you, the socks, the shirt, I had twins other than Jonathan and Gio. They are named Raina and Rhea. You heard me in the video, right? They defined it simpler than I could define it. And I like it. That's why I quoted exactly how they defined this word. Okay? You have that packet. Okay. Markup is, according to Rhea or Raina, what's markup?
Increasing price.
Increasing the price.
Okay.
Discount is decreasing the price of the goods, the products, what you're selling, right? Markup versus discount. Let's focus on this one first, right? And if it's markup, I told you you have to be able to flip your brain fast. Why? In markup, who gains? The owner, the businessman, the investor, okay? So you want to increase the price, right? As an owner, what do you know? You know the cost, what you paid for from the vendor, okay, the manufacturer, the wholesaler. So that's markup. Okay? You want to profit. Are you following? Discount, you said, as Shrain and Rhea defined, is decreasing the price. Who gains from it? The customer. That's why we look forward to Black Friday, Cyber Mondays, discount, Prime Days, whatever discount, right? So in terms of discount, what do you know as a customer? Do you know how much the owner bought it for, or the businessman? What do you know? The original selling price. And that's how I created the two formulas. These two formulas you will not see on books. I created them to simplify it because students are having a hard time with markup percentage and discount percentage. Okay, so markup percentage, what's the formula for markup percentage?
So how do you markup empty over the wholesale price?
What is it?
The markup, empty over the wholesale price times 100.
The markup amount. Is that correct?
Yes,
Over
the wholesale price.
wholesale price, or in pharmacy terms, average wholesale price. Right? Think Costco, think Sam's Club, right? We get a case of our green tea. Okay. Because it's cheaper, it comes out in cents per unit versus getting it from Terribles, which becomes $2 per unit, right? Average wholesale price. Because in markup, you should be functioning, or your brain should be working as the owner. And to make it a percent, what do I do?
Times 100.
That's how I created that formula. Clear? In discount, recording. In discount, what's the formula?
Discount amount
Your discount amount
over the selling price.
over the selling price, original selling price. To make it a percent, what do?
Times 100.
Times 100. Let's do simple ones. Markup. And I'm shopping. Let's start with discount, which is easier for you to understand because this is as a customer, right? When I'm shopping with my mom, don't feel bad if you don't know the shortcut, okay? 90% of Americans don't know how to do the shortcut, okay? But I'm going to teach you the shortcut anyway. Okay? And when students get it, they have their aha moment, they feel smarter. Okay? Who understood the shortcut based on the video? Okay. So when my mom and I are shopping and something's on sale, I just use multipliers. How do you do that? And I teach her over and over and over, and she wouldn't get it. Okay, and that's fine, right? And that's fine. But I'll still teach you how to do that. So discount is decreasing the price. Do you agree that 100% is the same as 1 whole and is the same as 1 over 1?
Yes.
They're all the same. I'm trying to tell you that any number can be converted to a whole number, a decimal if you may, right? A percent, or a fraction. They're all one and the same. Okay? Just like a pure drug is 100%. You'll learn that in alligation again in the next sequence. So a whole, $1 is a whole. That's why Justin said a quarter. Divide $1 by 4. Okay? Now let's go back to the discount. You just agreed that a whole is all of these, right? So if the original selling price was $10, and on the tag there's a slash, okay, and it says 10% discount, how much is the final selling price now after the discount? Okay. If we are to do the shortcut, it will be times 0.9, and the answer will be $9. Correct. Decreasing the price, so you should be decreasing why? A whole will be $10. Take out 10% on the whole, that's 90%. So it's 0.9. You following? Long method. The long method. $10. What's 10% of $10? $1, right? But you'll have to go back again to the original price, subtract that 10% to get your $9. You following? Who likes the discount shortcut? Okay. Now if I say 20% discount, what's my multiplier? 0.8. That's if I'm being asked of the selling price. But if I'm asked how much is the discount amount, what's your multiplier? 0.2. You still have to read the instruction. You cannot be robotic. Is that clear? Okay. Now, 30% discount. What's your multiplier? If it's selling price question. 0 point. Selling price question. 30% discount. What's your multiplier? 0.7. If you're asked what is the discount amount, what's your multiplier? 0.3. Isn't it easier? This works so much better on certain problems. And I'll tell you later once we go over certain problems, okay? The reason I teach this is not only for you to feel smarter and you're above 90% of people, but because, one, I told you, it works out better when you know this on certain problems. Okay? And two, the biggest reason, people forget to take out that discount amount from the original price, always. So if you know the discount, you don't have to go back to the original price and take it out, okay? 40% discount, what's my multiplier to know the selling price? 0.6. What's my multiplier if I just want to know the discount amount? You got it so fast. The other groups took me probably 30, 45 minutes or even days. So do you want to use this now as a shortcut when you're shopping? I'd always use it. Okay. Now we have to flip it. Mark up now. So what's going to happen to our multiplier, you think? It's going to go higher. Okay. It's going to go higher. Now let's change the topic and I'll change the color so it sticks in your head. Okay. What is the shortcut for the discount? Hands up. If you didn't understand, that's okay. Go back to the original. But never, ever forget to take out that discount amount from the original price. I'm just talking discount. Now I'm going to change the color of my pen to red. Why? Because I wanted to flash in your head that this is a different topic. Should use black for discount. Using red for markup, right? But the principle remains the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in a green box. Because it's common to both. This visuals helped me when I was in school. Okay? Helps when I'm studying. I drew a butterfly in the corner of my book. Just a pink highlighter for this particular word. Helps because 80% of people are visual. So let's start with markup. So markup, going back, is increasing the price. Understandable. This may be something that's more difficult for you to understand because not everybody are business owners. Okay? However, I do not believe in that. You were born salesmen. Everyone is born a salesman. What do babies do when they want to eat? They're selling to their parents. What do babies do when they want their diapers changed? Everybody's born a salesman. Okay? And do not tell me in your life, no matter what age you are, you've never sold something. Your old prom dress, your old whatever, your old bike. Yeah, so you profited. Sometimes you do. Okay, usually with old stuff, you don't profit unless it's like a limited edition or an antique, right? Or a collector's item. Okay, but we had students who traded sneakers. That was his business. You gotta know this math. This is my math. Okay, or some of you work in retail. Okay, you may not be privy as to how much they bought it from China, from Mexico, from Morocco, right? But the supervisor, as a manager, part of your job is financial statements. Okay, but in your day-to-day life, if you want to sell something, like something that you used or something that you bought, and then I don't want to return it, I just want to sell it. Right? Because I know I'm going to make a profit, a little profit out of it. You understand the concept. Okay? So there's no excuse like, oh, I don't have a business. I'm not a business owner. Right? It gets more complicated when we're talking financial statements, which is my next topic, but not too complicated. So markup is increasing the price. So my multiplier will change. We'll still use the same number, $10. Okay? But this time, this is my acquisition cost. So you have to flip your brain. I'm an owner, a business owner. I bought it for $10. Do I want to make a profit? Yeah? I bought it for $10. I want to make a profit. Yeah, because it's a waste of time if I don't make a profit. Right? This is your cost, acquisition cost. Listen to my terminology. Average wholesale price. So you want to make an additional profit, which the correct terminology is markup. Okay? So if you want a markup, okay, of 10%, what's your multiplier? Why? To get the selling price, you want your original purchase price from the vendor plus an additional 10%. And that is the whole plus the 0.1, which means 10%. So your multiplier is 0.1. So your selling price will be $11. Same as the long method, $10 long method, plus, how much is this? But this time it's plus, right? So it's increasing the price. $1 should give you $11, but pay attention, this is the selling price. If I ask you, how much is the markup amount? What is it? $1. What's your multiplier if the question is markup amount? 0.1 only, just the 10%. okay? Your business owners now, you gotta flip fast. What am I here, right? Am I a buyer or am I a seller here, right? Am I a customer or am I a business owner here? Okay, now, that's very low. You'll be surprised how much we mark up our drugs, okay? In business, if you want to survive, the rule of thumb is times 8 times 10. Especially if it's a consumer product, because you have to pay for ads and marketing. Even if it's not a consumer product, you promote to doctors, that's considered ads and marketing, pharmaceutical reps, right? So, say for example, it's still $10, but you want a markup of 50%. What's my multiplier now? 1.5 to get the selling price. And what's the selling price if the markup is 50%? $15. You following? The whole plus a 50%. If I ask you, what is the markup amount? What's my multiplier? 0.5 only. Because I'm only asking the markup portion. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. Now, if I want 100% markup, if you were paying attention to my video, what's my multiplier? I want 100% markup. It's still $10. I'm the business owner. I want 100% markup. What's my multiplier? 2. Because you just told me 50% is 0.5. Why is it 2? Because I'm doubling. I want another 100% on top of the cost, which is a whole. Are you following? 100% markup is a multiplier of 2. So what does that make the selling price?
$20.
$20, correct. If I ask you what is the markup amount in this terms? Just $10, okay? If I want a 200% markup, what's my multiplier? 200% markup. If I want a 200% markup, what's my multiplier? Times 3, correct. You just add one whole again, because that one whole pertains to how much you bought it for from the supplier. So plus 200% markup would be a times 3. So how much would that be? $30. So if I ask you, how much is the markup amount? $20. Because the first $10 is the cost. The 200% is the 20. And that makes it $30. Is that clear? Do not be surprised. We mark up 8 times to 10 times. Did you understand? I was very clear with specific questions. So you're not confusing which one is the markup amount and the selling price. There was a group back in the day when we were in Maryland. I was doing this for 2 days and I was struggling, okay? I went home and I told my son, can you help me? I said, my students are struggling with a markup and a discount. So I recorded him. And he explained it. I uploaded it, and then the next day the students are like, we get it. Are you serious? And you know why? Not because, well, he probably explained it better, but because at the back of the students' minds, If this 13-year-old, this was last year, if this 13-year-old boy can do it, this is what students say. I could do it. And it's more the challenge and the motivation more than what he said. Zach. Yeah. I'll find the video again if I could. Who understood the shortcut? Okay. Let's see if you do. Instead of giving you this quiz, I'm just gonna ask you one by one. Okay. Listen to my instructions. I will call you one by one. My instruction for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First 5 questions. This is not a quiz, it's participation. It is a quiz originally that I made. Okay. Calculate the discount amount. Discount amount. Don't be confused. Calculate the discount amount if the discount is 38%. Calculate the discount amount if the discount is 38%. Get ready with your calculators. I'll call you one by one, okay? Diana at $325. Discount amount at 38% discount. $325. Everybody should be working on it, even if I'm only calling one person, okay? My instruction again is calculate for the discount amount if the discount is 38%. Diana, $325. The discount amount would be? Correct. Why? What was my question again? What was my instruction? Discount amount only. I didn't ask you of the selling price. Is that clear? What was your multiplier? 0.38. There you go. I'm not too concerned about the 0 point right now, okay? Because you're using your calculator right now. But once it's translated on paper, we follow the rule. Do not forget the leading 0, drop the trailing 0. Clear? Kai. I know.
I'm only 1%.
Okay, Kai, $418, same instruction, discount amount, 38% discount. Good job. $158.84. If you're paying attention, Kai, what is the multiplier? 0.38. If you cannot multiply and divide, we have a problem. Because they're telling you how to do it without telling you how to do it. If you're only paying attention to my line of questioning. Sadie, same instruction, discount amount, if the discount is 38%, $235. Say it in money terms. What was that?
$89.
$89 and is it 3 cents? It's 0.3. It has to be 30 cents. $89.30. What's your multiplier? 0.38, because I said I only want the discount amount. Calvin, you're next. $385. Same instruction. I want the discount amount at 38% discount. Unless you want to take this as a quiz. There might be less pressure as a quiz versus me calling you. Sometimes, remember I talked about stress. There are 2 types of stress, one good, one bad. Yeah? What's a good stress? Where you grow. Eustress, euphoria, EU, right? What's a bad stress? Distress, that's toxic. You want to stay away from that. DI, distress. Yeah?
Can I get the whole number again?
The whole number is 385. Discount amount at 38% discount. Calvin? Good job! $146.30. When you see the 0.3 on your calculator, and that's not 3 cents. You have to add the 0 at the end to make it money terms. 30 cents, okay? Eddie was like, give me one, miss. I give you one. $117, same instruction. Discount amount at 38% discount. What's your role right now? Buyer or seller? Customer or business owner? You are the customer because you heard the word discount.
Right, I got $44.46.
Next instruction, there's another 5 groups again. Calculate how much is the customer paying for, what is that term? Calculate how much is the customer paying for after a discount of 38%. Calculate, this is a new set of instructions, okay? Calculate how much is the customer paying for after 38% discount. So which side am I looking for? Not this one because it's markup, but this one, right? After a 38% discount, are you a customer patient or are you a business owner pharmacist? Ooh. What side are you on right now? Business owner or customer? Customer still. Discount. You heard the word discount. Okay. What is the selling price after 38% discount? Melanie. $325. $38% discount. Same. I'm looking for after the discount. Now, how much will you pay after you take out the discount? $325. My 5 numbers will be exactly the same as my first 5 numbers earlier because I wanted to make a point that the answers are different if you pay attention to the instructions. Okay. Melanie, how much is the customer going to pay for after a 38% discount? $325. Correct, $201.50. What's my multiplier if it's a shortcut? Did you do a shortcut or long method? She did a long method, okay? If you did the shortcut, what's my multiplier? 0.62, because take that away from 100, take 38 away from 100, that's 62. In decimal, 0.62. Take that away from a whole. Are you following? Remember, a 38% discount becomes a decimal, 0.38. Take that away from a whole, 1.00, then it's a 0.62. Are you following?
Can you pause for 1 second?
Sure. Miss J is like a bouncing ball right now. We're like, where's the third back? Know what this is truly about? Listening to my instructions. Am I just asking the discount price or am I asking how much is it after the discount?
Right.
So why is my multiplier for this next set of questions 0.62? Diana.
Because it's 38% off, so we were finding out before was how much we're taking off from the original price.
Correct. 38% is also equivalent to 0.38. Take that away from 1.00 gives you 0.62. But pay attention, once it becomes altogether discount markup, this is when you're being tested if you understand the terminology and the question and the problem. 90% of tests are a test of comprehension more than concept. Remember I told you about, I have 50 questions. Listen, read all of it first before you answer. And you answer every single problem 1 to 49. But the instruction on number 59 is disregard questions 1 to 49 and just write your name on number 50. No erasures. And if you have erasures, you don't get the full credit. If it said in there, read everything first before you answer, read everything first before you answer. And you can't ask for another paper. That is a great test of one professor did that. And that's your final grade. It's testing. Yep. That's something I would do. I have what 49 problems, and I'll say at number 50, disregard all 1 to 49, and just write your name on number 50. Because I said in the first instruction, read everything first, read every single problem first. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, next one. Sharon, your turn. Same instruction. What is the customer going to pay for after the 38% discount? And the amount is $418. Don't you just love the shortcut? I love the shortcut. Now you feel smarter than 90% of people. What's the answer?
The customer's going to pay $259.16.
Okay, $235. Dallas. Same instruction. How much is the customer gonna pay for after a 38% discount? $235. $145.70. Okay, next one. Jay. $385. Same instruction. How much is the customer going to pay for after the 38% discount? $385 is the next one. 38% discount. Yeah. $238.70. Good job. Who got that one? Wasn't sure if it's recording. I couldn't see the recording.
First time you were like, focusing on that, I was like.
Right, because I couldn't see that it's recording. Okay. Next one, $117. Calvin, back to you. How much is the customer going to pay for after 38% discount? $72.54. Good job. Next set of instructions are coming up. Okay. Calculate for the markup amount. If the owner wants a 20% markup, calculate for the markup amount. If the owner wants a 20% markup, Kai, what's your multiplier with that instruction? Good job. 0.2 or 0.20 if you want to picture it that way, if it clicks better. Yeah. Why? Because I'm only asking for the amount of the markup. I'm not asking how much the selling price will be after the markup, right? Let's roll. Hi, Dallas, back to you. $325, 20% markup. What is the markup amount? This is me practicing you on terminology, right? $65 what? $65 to make me holla. Next one, Sadie, $418, same instructions, markup amount if the owner wants a 20% markup. $418. Davion, $235. Markup amount if the owner wants 20% markup. $47. Like on Price is Right.
Just give me one.
Hang on. Fabian. Markup amount if the owner wants a 20% markup. $385.
It's $77.
Woo! $77. You got that one. Addie. Same instructions. Markup amount for a 20% markup. $117. $23.40. Who got that one? Next set of 5 instructions. You will notice I used the same 5 numbers. Why? Because I want you to know that they matter. The numbers are the same. First 5 numbers, but with different instructions. Because I'm training you to know that this is amount of markup, amount of discount, percentage markup, percentage discount. Are you following? Now, next set of instructions. Calculate the selling price after 20% markup. Calculate the selling price after 20% markup. Melanie, $325. What's your clue? Markup is? No, markup is?
With increasing.
Increasing the price. Melanie, $325. What's the selling price after a 20% markup? $300. That includes the cost plus the 20% markup that the owner wants, right? Next one, Sharon, $418 selling price or retail price, that's the term, after the 20% markup. Woohoo! What's our multiplier? Isn't the shortcut so much easier? Like, I'm so proud of you. This is the only group that got it within the first few minutes. Yeah. I learned too as I move on, like, okay, that didn't work last time. Yeah, just like a comedian, that joke didn't land. Gotta change that joke. Okay, next one, Calvin, $235, same instructions. What is the retail price? Also the same as the selling price after 20% markup. $282. How do you know your answer is wrong or not? If your answer is not higher than the original answer, than the given, then you're wrong. Because this is the selling price after the markup. You want to increase the price. Okay. Next one. Micah, $385, same instruction. What is the selling price or the retail price after a 20% markup? To 385, 385. $462. Okay.
Yeah.
Next one, last one. Diana, $117, same instructions. What's the selling price or the retail price after a 20% markup? $140.40. This exact quiz I gave years ago. Same exact quiz, 5 exact numbers, okay? There's 2 students who failed this particular math because they failed that quiz. It's crazy, right? Money math. You gotta know your money. Some of you are cashiers, right? Some of you are working the register. I heard some students don't know how to give change. I mean, not that we give change, I mean, sometimes, right? You will get patients or like older people who will say, no, I want my 10 cents. Because if there's 100 people today and you didn't give that 10 cents to those 100 people, that's how much you make extra every day. Just like that, okay? So, any questions on this topic? Because I'm gonna unalive this particular topic. I don't like this. I learned that from you. Unalive. The heck is unalive? I hate it too. That's why I'm joking about it. What do I do? How many people you killed?
On the baby.
Any questions on this topic? So I can end this topic and then we start a new one. I mean, same, similar, we just
I
expanded.
think they started that on TikTok to kill your confidence plan. TikTok's fault. We're doing it.
Don't unalive anybody then. Do your math right, okay? I mean, this doesn't mean like we're hurting somebody money-wise, right? But you may hurt your business if you don't know this one. And you can be fired for not for hurting your business, right? But this applies to your personal life too. Okay? You never know. Later, you can be an entrepreneur. You want to be an entrepreneur. I think you should be, even on the side. Any questions on this topic? Okay, I will close this one and start a new. Okay, who likes the shortcut? You like the shortcut? Now you're smarter than 90% of people in the world. I don't know how to end this thing. Yeah, and my son's dad. Okay, how do I haven't done this in a long time.